how I started this series of videos, really talking about how to make our children happy. I think nothing's more genuine in the heart of an adult, a parent or a grandparent, than wanting their children to be happy. But I also explain there's two kinds of happiness. One kind of happiness is terminal happiness. That's usually focused outside of us. It's things that we can gain or achieve, enjoy outwardly, but it ends. It always ends, whether it's a party or it's a vacation. It's happiness, but it's terminal. The other kind of happiness is normative happiness. And what that happiness is that it recognizes we have intellectual capacities, we have moral capacities, and when we bring these capacities to fruition, in other words, we're becoming what we can become, who we actually are. It gives another kind of happiness, which is labeled normative happiness, and it's sort of a satisfaction. It's a fulfillment of life. It's the root of self-worth and self-confidence. And of course, it's a happiness that abides. It doesn't dissipate. It continues on. And it even encourages us to grow even more. Well, side by side with that understanding of happiness is what we call education for becoming. That kind of education does include what we would traditionally think of as education, but more so, or at least in addition to, there are the skills, the attitude, the habits, the foundational knowledge that allow you to bring out what's within you in your intellectual and moral capacities. So there's habits and there's ways of living that allow you to bring forth who you are. And that's called education for becoming. So you grow. Education for becoming is to grow. And when I talk with children, I usually put growth in one of three categories. They overlap, but it's helpful. The first one is growth that leads to your achievement, being goal-oriented. Through that, you develop some self-determination and some self-worth and some self-confidence because you're accomplished to varying degrees. So you feel good about yourself. The second realm of growth is life is filled with obstacles, with unpleasant occurrences, whether they're disappointments or frustrations or obstacles that are keeping you from reaching your goal. And there's all kinds of things. Well, that also requires some virtues to approach them, to how to deal with it, how to become resilient when you face these obstacles, how to develop tenacity, grit, how not to quit, not blaming or looking for some excuse out. That is a huge skill of growth, is to be able to face the difficulties in your life. The third one is, I'm going to use the word learning how to become a blessing. Now, I'm not talking about this in some spiritual sense. You may have your own interpretations for that reason, but becoming a blessing is related to other people. And it doesn't just mean that you're kind or good or whatever attributes you may have toward other people. It's your person brings support, brings encouragement, brings happiness to whatever setting you're in, whether it's one other person or two other people or a whole group of people. Your mindset is such that when I'm here, I will just make things better. Even if my making them better means don't say anything, just be quiet and nod your head and be positive. Maybe that's another synonym. It's just being positive toward the world, being positive toward other people, and consequently, you become a blessing. And directing children and building up the habits and the attitudes and the skills necessary, whether it's for achievement, whether it's for the need of resilience and facing obstacles, or whether it's toward becoming a blessing for others. Education for becoming addresses them all. And it gives us a handle on how to work with children. And in the next video, I'll talk a little bit more in detail. Okay, how do you make this happen? How do you impart to the children the attitudes and skills and virtues that they need so that they can face obstacles, they can grow, and they can bless other people? Okay, thank you.